Tonight, the University of Idaho is closing a chapter. 1122 King Road was the site where Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Gonzalez were killed more than a year ago. Crews tore down the home this morning, leaving behind only debris, marking a significant but emotional moment for the victims' families and the wider university community. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Shannon Mowdy. The demolition took much faster than originally anticipated, with crews only taking hours to do it. KREM 2's Nathan Hyun is at the site now. Nathan, what have you heard from the community since the house went down?
Well, Shannon, this used to be the spot of the home where 4 University of Idaho students were killed last year. Now, I had the chance to speak with the lawyer for some of the victims' families today. He says they felt the demolition of the home is a gut punch after their fight to keep it standing. A quiet morning, not unlike November 13th, 2022, gave way to sounds of excavators as the house came tumbling down to the ground. Now, less than 24 hours later, an empty lot. The university says the demolition this morning went faster than expected. University of Idaho Communications Director Jody Walker says it was supposed to take 2 days, but crews demolished the house and cleared the area in 7 hours.
Definitely an emotional time for our community, for our campus, and most certainly for the families.
Roads have been reopened and the university does not expect any further disruption to neighbors. And more than a year after the murders of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Maddie Mogen, and Kaylee Gonzalez, Walker says the demolition is much needed closure for the community.
Our community definitely is stronger and has bonded through this, the support for each other, the care for each other.
But the Gonzalez and Kernodle family have said they were against the demolition until after the trial because they believe it may still provide needed evidence. But both prosecutors and lawyers for suspect Brian Kohlberger have said they are okay with the demolition. And the University of Idaho says they've had full support from staff and faculty for the demolition of the home.
We have heard from a lot of our students in their support of the house coming down. They look at it every day, they walk past it every day, they live with it. Without the house being that reminder, I think they will appreciate.
Walker says today is the next step in recovery.
Seeing it come down, there's also a bit of relief in that as well. It's been a constant reminder of the horrific act there.
The university says that all the debris was taken to a landfill in Moscow. After the new year, the property will be worked on.
They'll be back in about a week to grade the property and get it ready to plant into grass.
There are no further plans at this point for what will happen to the property. Now, a fence has been put up around the property. The university says there will be security placed outside the property until the new year. The university says they pay about $700 a day for the security. Now, that money comes from $1 million for the school that was set aside by the state government. For now, live in Moscow, Nathan Hyun, KREM 2 News.
Today's milestone has been a bag of mixed emotions for the victims' families, as you've heard. Some are in favor of the demolition, while others have been vocally against it. Madison Mogen's father, Ben, tells KREM 2 News he fully supports the university's decision, saying he never wanted anyone to live in that home again. Yesterday, we also received a statement from the Gonzalez and Kernodle families. They asked the Latah County Prosecutor's Office and the university to stop the demolition. They said in part, quote, "When the victims can't speak, you have to speak for them when you feel someone is hurting the case. We all along have just wanted the King Road home to not be demolished until after trial and for us to have a trial date so that we can look forward to justice being served. Is that really too much to ask?" The university is now working to create a permanent place for the Vandal community to grieve. The Vandals Healing Garden will honor the lives of the 4 victims, and Idaho's College of Art and Architecture is working on the design. The Healing Garden will allow people to gather to remember any student who never lived to see graduation day. The University of Idaho is still working to finalize designs and figuring out where it will be on campus. Meanwhile, the defense team for Brian Kohlberger, the man charged with the murders, went into the home earlier this month to take pictures and get measurements. Prosecutors have asked to start trial in the summer. They're asking the court to allot 6 weeks for it. The state says they want to avoid having the trial when schools and universities are in class. Moscow High School is by the Latah County Courthouse, so there are some safety and parking concerns. Right now on our streaming platform, KREM 2+, you can watch our full special honoring the 4 victims 1 year after this tragedy. KREM 2+ is free to download on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. No court appearance today for an Idaho man accused of killing his ex-wife and stepchildren. Chad Daybell was supposed to appear before a judge for a motion hearing. It was expected he may try to overturn a recent decision to not dismiss the death penalty. Now the hearing's been postponed until next month. Daybell's trial is set to start in April in Ada County. Taking a break from the headlines as we turn our attention to the weather, and as we are getting ready for this holiday weekend and all the celebrations that come along with it, we're checking in with meteorologist Jeremy Legoo to see how much of the fireworks, if there's anything to put a damper on that, Jeremy.
Oh, it's a tricky one the way this forecast works the next few days, but I think we might be dry come time the fireworks are shot off, I think. Hear me out on this one. 37 degrees right now, and when it comes to our overall weather pattern, our biggest concern into the weekend is going to be the temperature swing from day to night. We're above freezing during the day. We got some recent snow and a little bit of moisture on the ground. And so as temperatures go from near 40 to down below freezing, what is likely is a few slick spots are going to form on the roads over the course of the next few mornings. That's really about it. The overall weather pattern is kind of being dominated by this storm sitting off the coast. As it moves up toward us, what we are going to see are these waves of energy kind of thrown at us. And those waves of energy being thrown at us bring us our chances of seeing a little bit of rain and maybe some mountain snow, but it's not great. Overall, looks like we're going to get a mix of clouds and sun tomorrow, and it looks like we get a chance of a couple of showers kind of after sunset Saturday. I think our best shot kind of winds up a couple of hours after sunset. I think this is kind of jumping the gun with speed on this storm moving in, but yeah, kind of late Saturday into Sunday morning looks like the bulk of our moisture. 44 degrees tomorrow, 42 Saturday, 40 on Sunday. Those temperatures continue to slowly drop all next week. We'll talk what that means coming up in the full forecast.
Last night, more than 100 people packed into the downtown Spokane Library to celebrate Mayor-elect Lisa Brown's swearing-in ceremony. During her speech, Brown said divisions are real and don't go away because of an election, but she adds it is time for Spokane to work together. Brown says her administration will focus on people, not politics, and join hands instead of pointing fingers. Standing on stage with her husband, Brown was sworn into office.
I'll just put it this way, terror at how complicated some of these problems are and how tough some of this is going to be. I fully expect, despite all the great jobs I've had in my life, that this will be the hardest one.
Brown will officially become Spokane's mayor January 1st. Council member-elect Kitty Klitsky was also sworn in Wednesday.